Tornado warning.
Tornado warning?
Yep, Cleveland, Lincoln, Oklahoma.
Okay, here we go. So tornado warning just issued. Tornado warning now just issued. This could be a pretty large tornado warning as well for Cleveland, Lincoln, Oklahoma, and Potawatomi County. Pretty much they're going to replace this severe thunderstorm warning for this right here. If you're in Norman, east of Norman North High School, that right there, you can see right there, south of Belmar, south and east of the Hollywood Corners. This is moving up to the northeast. Once again, moving up to the northeast. So this is a tornado warning, and that right there. So this is Sooner Road. This will be Sooner Road and more. Pepperwell Oaks. We're right along southeast 149th Street. And so the northern fringe of this is going to be very close. So if you're right here in the northern fringe, you're going to have a Tinker Federal Credit Union located right here. This is going to be on the east side of Sooner, and so at Franklin Road. And so Belmar is going to be located right here. Royal Bavaria, a German restaurant's going to be located right here. So we're east and southeast of this. But this could be on Franklin Road, very close to the community of Franklin and at Robin Hill School. Robin Hill School will be that school there at the four-way intersection of Franklin and as you go east of Sooner Road. So this is going to be south of Stanley Draper, moving up to the northeast. So this goes into Franklin at 1241, Stella 1251, Hera 103, Grand Casino, and into Potawatomi County to Shawnee at 113. And so Franklin, East Franklin Road is going to be located. This is going to be right over East Franklin Road. We are east of Sooner, 12th Avenue Northeast. And so the community of Franklin and Robin Hill School is going to be located right here. But this is your developing tornado. So Belmar is right here. Again, just naming off a bunch of areas. But here's Heritage Trails Elementary School and more. You're good. And so there'll be an on-go gas station right there, 149th and Sooner Road. This is south and southeast. Here's Belmar. Here's Hollywood Corners. So we're east of Sooner. This is moving up to the northeast. And so we're on the south side of Stanley Draper. And as you go right along 149, this is going to cross very close. And so at 149th and Anderson, there will be a Dollar General that will be located right here. This is going to move right in the vicinity of that Dollar General at Anderson and southeast 149th on the southeast side of Stanley Draper. If you're down by Thunderbird, this is moving away from you, moving up to the northeast. But Newalla to McLeod, sirens are going off. This is why right here it is going to be for this couplet that is going to be south of Stanley Draper, east of Sooner Road, and this is moving quickly up to the northeast. So this is a tornado warning for Oklahoma, Cleveland County. And so again, Oklahoma. Okay, so south. Okay, who's there right now? So
power flash is there.
Is that where Michael is right now? Once again, tornado warning, and the tornado is going to be located in Cleveland County. Once again, Cleveland County. Jonathan, we've been watching this real closely. Jonathan, what do you see?
Yeah, Dame, that is one of those classic hybrid tornado signatures. I just said a couple minutes ago, we have to watch it literally scan by scan, like literally within 60 seconds, a lot can change. And this is a couplet and absolutely warranted. If you are in the path of this couplet, you take your tornado action plan. So Franklin, Stella, Newalla, McLeod, it's not quite, the warning doesn't quite come into Shawnee. So the warning comes right up to McLeod and right up to the Grand Casino or Grand Casino in McLeod. If it turned hard right, and let's say in about a half hour, it would then come into the Shawnee area, but on its track right now, it's moving to the northeast. So I think it's going to cross over I-40 at about McLeod is where I would put it. And it's moving pretty quick. It's moving at about 45 miles, 50 miles an hour, and the couplet is still very, very strong. Again, let's get it down here. This is going to be 1 mile north, 1 mile west of Franklin. So Franklin and looks like 60th Ave there. Yep, yeah. But there it is. Very, very strong signature. Let me back the radar up so we can see how fast it happened. So when it was down in Norman, you know, you couldn't really see it on radar. We have great sampling, and then it started to spin up there. That was about 5 minutes ago, and there it is. And that's a really strong signature, Damon. I mean, now we're pegged 5 out of 5 right now.
Yeah, absolutely. And so for anyone that's in this part, so if you're living on Sooner Road, right along Sooner Road, you're okay. Again, this couplet is now northeast of you, but it's on the south side of Stanley Draper. And so, and this is, there's not a lot of areas of commercial businesses in this part of Cleveland County, but there are a few. So here's the south side of Draper at Anderson and 149th. If you drive this area, there's that Dollar General right there at the corner. Again, I know there's not a lot of commercial areas, but trying to give you perspective as to where this storm is. And then you have Franklin, the little four-way stop here. Franklin's right here, and there's a school. Robin Hill School is located right here. So we're 1 mile north of Robin Hill School, the four-way stop at Franklin, and then we're coming up very close to the south side of Stanley Draper. You have Anderson and Choctaw Road, and then again right along 149th, located right here. This is where you're going to have that Dollar General, and then a bunch of homes located right here, scattered, a little bit more rural, but still, this is absolutely a pretty strong couplet, and by far the strongest couplet we have seen. So we're at 149th, and so southeast 34th. And which then goes into out of Moore and becomes southeast 164th Street. It will come up to 134th and 149th. So here's 149th, and so this is about to cross right up onto the south and southeast side of Stanley Draper, north of Franklin by about 2 miles. But if you are in northeastern Cleveland County, just south of Tinker, southeast of Tinker, this storm is quickly moving up to the northeast here. So this tornado warning goes until 1 a.m. This is the second tornado warning that we have had this evening. The first one was out across western Oklahoma. Let's get a check real quick on our, I'm gonna check the shear that we have and see how it's looking. And so it's certainly there, but that radar couplet is that's pretty close to the radar. It's certainly pretty concerning. I want to zoom on out real quick because you can just see that ball right there. Yeah, there you go. That and that right there is what concerns me quite a bit.
That's terminal.
Terminal, yeah, terminal, I mean, is hitting it at 90 degrees, and so it gives us a really good perspective. But that is by far the strongest radar couplet that we have seen. It's now moved up to northeast. So Belmar, if you're near right along Sooner Road, you're good. Okay, the storm is now up to the northeast. You're getting quite a bit of rain right now, but this absolutely is absolutely concerning right now from Bethel Road right along southeast 149th Street, coming up to Stella. And so Stella's right here. This will keep moving up to the northeast and will likely cross I-40 here very, very soon. Once again, with this cell, I want to check in with Michael Armstrong. And so, Michael, tornado warning for this cell moving up to the northeast. Michael, you're in the field. Give us an update with what you're seeing, Michael.
Yep, Damon, this is why we stay on the leading edge. This is exactly why I'm doing what I'm doing. I'm going to absolutely intercept this tornado. If it crosses I-40, we're going to be right on it when it does. I'm looking to my right to see if we see any power flashes. I have not confirmed any power flashes yet, but I agree with you guys. I mean, it's very pronounced. I mean, if it... You just have to plan on there's a tornado there. It's just that simple. So, you live over here in Choctaw. You live along I-40. You live north of Shawnee. You got to take your tornado precautions, and you have to do it right now. It's just that simple. Man, I'm trying to see if there's any other velocities or anything else behind us. I don't see anything else. It's just that one feature, and that's what we have to really focus in on right now. I know there's other little parts of the line that we need to be concerned about, like east of Purcell, that's going to be moving over toward Tribby also. But this is the one that's prompted the tornado warning, and this is what we're going to have to focus our attention on until it goes away.
Yeah, and so this storm continues to move quickly up to northeast from Newalla to Hera. You need to be going into your tornado shelter, innermost room of your house. These storms are moving up to northeast about 40 miles per hour. So here we are. We're now southeast of Draper. So here's Tinker right here. The original warning went out Sooner Road. If you're living anywhere right along Sooner Road, as far north as I-240 or down to Norman, the circulation is now well off to the northeast. But for Newalla to Hara and eventually going into McLeod, really got to watch this one real closely because this storm is still rotating. It's not nearly as tight of a couplet as what we had a few moments ago, a few scans ago. But this is why we have been on air, because we knew that this threat was a very real possibility, and we didn't want you to know about the tornado when it was on top of you. We wanted you to know about it when it was 2 hours away, 3 hours away. So that's why we've been here tracking these storms as we go throughout the evening and early this morning. But from McLeod down into northwestern Pottawatomie County, that is a threat. And here's another threat beginning to spin up near Slaughterville, east of east of 77. This very well could be yet another tornado trying to spin up. And that is where we have Chrisley, just north of Lexington. Slaughterville, concerned about you as well right now with this threat. And you can see that couplet now surging northeast of Slaughterville, Etowah, up to Bethel Acres, Brooksville, and Tecumseh. We're going to watch this one real closely for you. A track on that up to the northeast brings it into Etowah at 1258, Macomb 109, Bethel Acres 116. These storms are not slow movers. These are fast movers moving at about 40 miles per hour. Let's go back up into the warning. Once again, McLeod to the Grand Casino. You're still in your shelter. And now this circulation has crossed north of 149th. Now we're at southeast 134th Street in Oklahoma City. This is about to cross over I-40. It will become I-40 off of I-240 here up near the new turnpike. But that is the circulation now on the east side of Stanley Draper. Here's Tinker. Here's the circulation. Here's Stanley Draper. And again, this is moving up to northeast. So Newalla, I'm going into the innermost room of my house. Same thing if you're in Choctaw, if you're in Hara. This storm is quickly moving up to the northeast. And so this is a tornado warning. Again, a tornado warning. But Newalla at 1259, McLeod 105, Dale 106, Shawnee Mall 114, all the way down to Johnson at 121. That right there is a very hyper-local look at exactly where that tornado is going to be located. Right there at west of Choctaw Road, and literally just on the east side of Stanley Draper. Again, on the east side of Stanley Draper. So keep an eye out on CC and see if you see anything. There's a lot of trees over here, so this thing is going to be pulling anything out of the ground. We very well might be able to pick it up on our debris tracker right here. You get a lot of trees over in this part of the county. It's about to move out of Cleveland County, and it's going to barely clip in the southeastern Oklahoma County before it then moves into Pottawatomie County. So on the bottom of your screen, Cleveland, Oklahoma, Pottawatomie County. We are east of I-35 with that couplet moving up to northeast, and so McLeod up to, or Newalla, Choctaw, up to McLeod. So McLeod 105 is when it's coming in. Let's go back out to Michael Armstrong. Michael, still watching this circulation. It's just southwest of you, Michael. What are you seeing?
Yeah, it is, and it's frustrating at night because I can't see it, and just watching for power flashes, and that they're just Damon, there aren't any, at least that I've been able to see. Not saying there's not a tornado there, but I cannot verify it. I mean, radar certainly, you just have to go off the fact that there's a tornado based on radar. I just wish I had better ability to be able to confirm it with my own eyes, and we're right here next to it. We're going to find a place to stop up here on I-40 and continue to watch for this thing to come across here close to our location. But as of right now, I cannot see it with my own eyes. But we're right here watching for it very closely.
Okay, and we know that you are there, Michael, so be safe because this thing is just to the southwest of you and is moving pretty quickly, about 40 miles per hour, and is about to move out of Cleveland County and into Oklahoma County. So there's Michael right here. There's the area spin. This warning goes all the way down to Pauls Valley. So we're going to be looking at this scan by scan. This is another area of rotation. Lexington, you're good. Slaughterville, you're okay. But from Etowah into western and southwestern Pottawatomie County, still concerned for you with this line moving up to the northeast. And so tracking that area of circulation, Etowah 1257, Macomb 109, Shawnee at 123, We go down towards Bow Lakes here at 134. With that moving up into the northeast. Let's check in with Chris Lee. Chris Lee, watching an area of rotation close to you. Give us an update, Chris, with what you're seeing.
Yeah, we do see a lowering off to our north. We're on Highway 39 out near the Lexington prison, and that's looking to our north. You can see that light area, the cloud that's lit up a little bit there. That is a lowered area along the to our north, along that leading edge. Not seeing any kind of power flashes, and we are out ahead of when we were back running along the leading edge, a lot of very strong winds, and it's very quickly will go from one direction to another. So there's a lot of little circulations, and there's a lot of strong winds, and not seeing any significant damage that we've run across, but certainly been quite a bit of wind out there, and I'm kind of trying to see if I just have not seen any power flashes along that area as we're watching it as it goes on.
All right, Chris, and again, you're gonna track that into Potawatomi, Seminole, and eventually into Hughes County. So we're watching this entire leading edge, which extends from Enid, west of Stillwater, Guthrie, all the way down to the Red River here, but the most intense line will be right here from Stillwater, north of Sulphur. And so we'll start first up to the north, because I know, look, in Guthrie, the storms are coming in right now. Tornado threat has come down with these, still finding some rotation on the east side of Guthrie, some strong winds, especially between Langston and Guthrie, right along the leading edge. We'll have to watch this right here, just northeast of Guthrie, Mulhall. These are some big-time winds. That's where the most intense line is going to be located here. So we're going to track this up to northeast. Langston, 1258. Carl Blackwell, 108. Lake Carl Blackwell. And then Stillwater at 119. You want to talk about some fast-moving storms. These are absolutely it. So we're watching this closely. You can see these are going to be your 70-mile-an-hour winds, about to blow right on into Langston. So Langston, you got about a minute before these storms come in. There's Derek right now in Luther. Tornado warning remains in effect down to the south. Still watching it closely for you in McLeod as you go out towards Dale, near Newalla and Choctaw. And there's the rotation right here. I mean, it is so close to a radar site. Looks like it's not nearly as tight of a couplet as what we had before, but it's still rotating. Tornado warning is still definitely warranted. It's about to cross right over I-40, and there's your inflow notch. That's actually going to be located right here. Let's check back in with Michael. Michael, from a radar perspective, still seeing that inflow notch. What are you seeing from where you are? Because it looks like it's right on top of you, Michael.
It's not. We're doing fine. We don't even have any rain on us. But we are going to turn around here along I-40 and look back to the west as it's kind of coming up toward McLeod. We're actually going to get off on the exit that goes up to McLeod and work our way out in front of it. So that's coming up in just a mile and a half. And thankfully I got my 360 camera back. It was down for a while, but it's back in operation. So now I can look backwards again, and it's super helpful to have your technology working, right? So we are looking straight back down I-40. That's what you're looking at. You're seeing my dish. That looked like that looked like a power flash just south of I-40 right there, Damon. That was not white. That was a green flash. So that was the first one of those I've seen. Man, it is a little ways behind us, but we wanted to make sure we could get up to McLeod in case it hits McLeod. So we're going to be tracking it very closely, and you're looking straight back down I-40, right into the heart of the circulation.
Okay, yeah, so look, this thing is still spinning, and the tornado threat is still definitely there, and the wind threat is certainly still going to be there as well. That is what we're watching closely for Newalla to McLeod, down to Dale, and as you make your way towards your Grand Casino and just west of Bethel Acres. So about to cross right over I-40. At this current track, this should at least stay north of Dale, north of Bethel Acres, but from Fowler down to McLeod, still watching it scan by scan, moving up to the northeast. And so Romulus, Potawatomi County, that's an area of rotation that we need to watch scan by scan, but that goes into Macomb at 112. Tecumseh at 120, Shawnee at 124, down to Johnson at 134, and then Bowlegs at 138. And once again, these tornado threats may not last long, but they certainly can be lasting long enough to certainly do some damage. A severe thunderstorm warning remains in effect. A fairly large severe thunderstorm warning as well. This entire line of storms is going to continue to advance to the east. So if you're west of I-35, just about, with the exception of up in towards Logan County, which Logan County, you're severe. If you're west of I-35, you still have some risk, but it's not going to be that. It's not going to stick around for that much longer. But for the most part, the farther west you are, you can pretty much go back to bed now. The threat's coming down. Let's see here from Langston. Some rotation, some strong winds. Jonathan, those are some big-time winds, especially just south of Langston.
Yeah, that's why I threw down the storm track on the northern side there. Doesn't have to be tornadic circulation to have significant damage. And so you can see where we're popping and kind of the, you go from the reds to the pinks to the purples, and you get in the oranges. That's not good. Those are some pretty high winds. You know, you got winds, I was able to pixel query a 70 in there. So we'll just have to watch that real closely. Could be some damaging winds. I think that's straight line winds. That's going to be between Langston and Merrick. They'll be moving up Highway 33 towards Perkins. I don't think it's a tight couplet for circulation, but definitely strong damaging winds on that leading edge gust front. So it's a big thunderstorm warning, Damon. It goes all the way from Stillwater all the way down to Pauls Valley. It's pretty significant. And then again, embedded on the line, we'll have to look for those circulations. I think that one that Michael is on, I mean, he's in the perfect spot. I think that circulation has maybe spun down a little bit. It's not as strong. I think it has gone over Storm Command. It'd be over New Walla, but then back down to the south, there's another area. And when everyone's at home looking at it like, I don't see it, there's another one right here. This is near Etowah, Needmore, and south of Pink, south of Highway 9. That would be the one that if it continues to tighten, it's not real tight, fairly broad, but if it did tighten up here the next 5-10 minutes, that would be a circulation we'd have to watch coming up in the Shawnee area. But again, the whole line is warned for potential winds up to about, I think, was it 70 miles an hour is the verbiage on that?
It is, yeah, it is. So if you're down in Pauls Valley, Wynnewood, Maysville to Stratford, I get it. You're saying, hey, the storms are just now coming in. What do I need to know? We'll get to you in just a second. We're going to put a storm track up to the northeast with that area. Macomb, 112, Shawnee, 125. Seminole at 138 with that area of rotation, that radar right now that we're picking up on right over Etowah.
That'll be your next tornado warning.
Yeah.
This will be your next one. Right? It's tightening.
Yeah, it is. It is. And Jonathan, you're right. Jonathan saying, look, this could very well be your next tornado warning. You're spot on with that as well, with that cell moving up northeast. So we're going to watch that one. Just real quick, let's jump down to Pauls Valley. Just to give people a heads up down in Pauls Valley. The storms are coming in right now. Paola, Pauls Valley, Wynnewood. Not seeing an immediate tornado threat here. Some areas of rotation east of Paola towards Byers. Doesn't look to be really that tight. So I know right now you're having some storms overhead right now. What do you need to know? You're getting some good old-fashioned rain. Got to love it. Not a significant threat at this moment as these storms are racing up to northeast. Still some decent speeds of about 40 miles per hour. So Wynnewood at 105, Stratford at 122, Maxwell 128, Kanawha at 136. With this line of storms that is now east and Wynnewood, you're going to get the rain in here as well. So the rain is good. Risk for severe weather appears to be on quite low, with that moving up to the northeast. If you're just now tuning in, what do you need to know? Let's go up the road here. The tornado warning has dropped now. So the tornado warning is no longer in effect that we had earlier across Oklahoma, Cleveland, and Pottawatomie counties. So that warning has been dropped, but the severe thunderstorm warning still remains. Doesn't mean that we're not going to see another tornado warning. I still think that the likelihood is still there, as Jonathan's highlighting now, crossing out of Cleveland County, going into Pottawatomie County. The threat is still there for that, but at least for now, it's just yellow flashing polygons. We're not looking at any tornado warnings yet, but still, if there is a tornado warning, this would be the area to watch. And again, all these areas, we got to keep a close eye on it moving up to the northeast. Let's check back in with Michael. Michael, you're watching the storms on I-40 coming into Pottawatomie County. Michael, anything stand out to you?
Well, not really, other than the fact that it definitely looks like that the circulation is weakened considerably that was lifting up toward McLeod. And man, you are counting your blessings if you're in McLeod right now. I will say there is still a reflectivity feature there, but it doesn't have the velocity couplet that would prompt a tornado warning any longer, and that's good news. So still, that's what we're looking at right now, looking straight west back into that area. I don't know, Damon. There's it still makes me nervous seeing it because on terminal Doppler there's still a pronounced notch right in there, and that's looking directly to my west. Like, so as I'm looking down the road right here, that's looking straight into it. I don't see anything hanging low enough that would suggest there's a tornado. We are seeing some lowered areas further to our south as we're looking down to the south, and that would be down toward Nick Smith's location. That would be down toward Pink. And so down out on the leading edge, there is some lowered cloud bases down. I'll spin my camera around and see if we can catch any lightning to see what I'm talking about. It's just kind of looking toward those towers is where we were seeing them. I'll tell you what, I'll send it back to you. If I see anything else, I'll let you know. But that's the update from me for right now.
Yeah, and you know what? In the last couple of scans, we've seen an uptick in the winds here, just north of I-40 from McLeod. There it is right there. As a matter of fact, those are some pretty strong winds right over I-40. So McLeod, as you go up north of Dale, here's Dale. Get ready for some strong winds. Newalla, same thing. I mean, these winds could really be pretty strong coming up into northwestern Pottawatomie County. Not tornado warned, but this is the same area that was warned on earlier. So tracking that to the east, still moving pretty quickly at about 40 miles per hour. So these storms should be wrapping up by 3 a.m. I think so. Everything is coming together the way that we have expected them to this evening. But Dale at 109, Jacktown at 116, Shawnee High School at 120. It's about 15 minutes from now. Same thing from Shawnee Mall, right along I-40 here in Pottawatomie County. Then we go into Johnson at 126. With that, moving up to northeast, looking at a lot of the data that we have had, certainly the farther east you go of I-35, the less likely we are to see widespread severe, but we're still going to have at least some embedded severe weather threats. And so really it's a wind threat tonight. The hail threat, no need to worry about the hail threat at all tonight. The hail is not happening, but the wind threat will certainly be there for this evening. If there's any hail, it's small. It's some small hail out of this. We have Chris Lee right now. So watching this area, I tell you what, it's still rotating. It's still something to watch. Where you have the red and the green, northeast of Etowah, west of Burnett. That's the spot to watch. Norman, you're good. This is east of I-35. And for the most part, if you're west of I-35, your risk has come down quite a bit. So if you're wondering, look, can I go to bed now? Is it safe to do so? Yes, you'll be okay. If you're east of I-35, not so fast. And so we're still watching a few areas here near Burnett, and then one as you go down south of Tribby, south of Pink, northeast of Etowah. So tracking this will likely come up into the south sides of Shawnee. So Shawnee at 125. The high school 126, Earlsboro 130, down to Seminole at 139, and then Prague at 148 with that couplet right here. Certainly there's some rain out of this. A lot of the rain totals that I've seen have been fairly light and about a half an inch or so. So these storms are moving fast enough to keep the flooding threat down. Let's check in with Nick Smith. Nick, give us an update. Where are you and what are you seeing?
Yeah, Damon, I'm a few miles east of Pink on Highway 9 east, and I am just kind of trying to stay ahead of this little rotation that's between Etowah and Tribby right now. It's moving up. It looks like the last couple scans, it's moving up a little bit closer to, it's going to, you guys know better than I will, but it looked like it was heading kind of in between Pink and Tecumseh. But it doesn't look like there's, from my vantage point, a lot of trees out here in the dark. But in the lightning, I see every once in a while, I see like more of the front edge of the storm itself. I'll get a good look right here because there's little trees. No lightning. Okay. But what we're seeing is just the front edge of that storm. We're not really seeing any lowerings or anything like that. That doesn't mean it's not there. It's just we're not seeing them right now because of the trees. Back to you.
Okay, so keep your eye out there, Nick. And once again, these storms are still advancing up to the northeast. Power outage situation right now, over 2,000 customers without power. With the storms that came through, all those are mainly concentrated across the OKC area. So watching this, and these are still moving quickly up to the northeast at 40 miles per hour. So these storms should be moving into eastern Oklahoma by 3 a.m. Let's go up into Payne County. check in on Stillwater. I know Stillwater in the northern fringe of this severe thunderstorm warning that we have. And so rain is good. Still going to watch out for some strong winds, and there will be some strong winds up to 60 miles per hour. We're seeing from Langston up in the Stillwater. It says narrow band right along the leading edge. That is usually where you have the most significant part of the storm. And so from Perry, south sides of Perry, northeast of Langston, that's headed up towards Glencoe and going into eastern Payne County and including Cushing here. So Lake McMurtry at 110, it's about 2 minutes from now. Perkins at 111, Stillwater at 116, down to Glencoe at about 130 with this leading edge. Strong winds, 60-mile-an-hour winds here, moving across Payne County. So Stillwater, these storms are going to be in here in about 10 minutes or so. They'll be noisy for a bit, but they won't last for anything more than about 30 minutes across Stillwater. Right now, the tornado risk is still low. This is the same line of storms that made its way across OKC, northern parts of the metro, and up into Edmond. We have Derek Klein, who will be just south, I believe right along the turnpike. Let's check in with Derek. Derek, watching these storms, give us an update, Derek, with what you're seeing.
Yeah, Damon, so we're sitting here on 177 just south of Warwick, or the Wellston area. We're looking south towards that storm that's over McLeod. And one of the interesting things that's really nice, so we're kind of hedging to the north of that storm so Michael can stay close and let us know if it does do anything. And then we can kind of back him up here to the north. But you can see in the lightning, the clouds, the darker clouds, the lower clouds, they actually stretch from right to left across the highway, which is basically where we have inflow that's coming into the top part of that kind of that notch or that hook. So that's the area that's feeding into that storm, the warm air, whereas most parts of this line are gusting out. But that's the one spot that we can see to our south where the air is still flowing into it. So that's why it's an area to watch, and it's something that we're able to see kind of as a team looking here from the north. We can see that while Michael's really close to the storm there to be able to see if it does anything at the surface. We're kind of taking a look from far away and able to see what's going on from far away to let them know, hey, this thing still has inflow. It's still something that we need to watch. And so we're going to continue to stay up here to the north and kind of be on the north side of this as it makes its run up towards Chandler or Stroud, the Meeker area. We're kind of watching that whole area. And we'll let you know if anything changes. Back to you.
Okay, we know that you will, Derek. Let's go down to McLeod, where we have Buck and Storm Command, because there's still a pocket of some strong winds and another one down by Pink as well. So McLeod, not tornado warned, but we're still watching for at least some stronger winds coming in on the south side of town, very close to the Grand Casino. Michael's on that. And then here's another area of some strong winds in between Pink and likely at least a brief tornado threat. Still trying to spin up with this in between Etowah, Macomb. So strong winds, McLeod, watching it right now, not tornado warned. And then here's another area that, of all the areas right along this leading edge where we see that brief tornado threat, this certainly has at least the most likely chance of being something a bit more significant. Let's check back in with Chris Lee, north of Tribby. Chris, still watching this area right in front of you. Chris, give us an update on what you're seeing.
Hey, Damon, from time to time, we can see a lowering in the clouds and in the lightning flashes, but it really see from this particular angle, we're just starting to get a little bit of rain between us and those clouds, and that really hampers our vision. Have not seen any power flashes, and have been kind of following this thing off and on for quite a while. It just persists. It just kind of it's there, and it looks good, and it looks good, and can't see it through the trees. And the company looks pretty good, and when there's no lightning, we can't see it. So we're following it, and it looks like it's headed a little bit north of the Tecumseh area. So we're going to kind of watch it as it goes northeast.
All right, Chris, keep a close eye on that, and we'll be doing the same thing here in the KOCO 5 Weather Center. So that's still the area to watch for these winds. If you're west of I-35, the severe weather threat has pretty much ended. So you can go back to bed. If you're up tonight because of the storms, you're good. And so the storms are now advanced mainly east of I-35. So western parts of the metro, you're good. You have a little bit of rain overhead still, and you'll likely hear a few rumbles of thunder, but the risk for severe weather is still setting up to be from Wellston, Kearney, down to McLeod, and down the Tribby. We did have one tornado warning for Cleveland County. That is no longer there, but we're still going to watch for these spin-ups. A lot of the dynamics that we have in the atmosphere early this morning, showing that as the farther east we went of I-35, the lower the tornado threat was going to be, but it was not going to be zero. It's still going to be something that we got to just keep a close eye on, scan by scan. That's why we're here still, and we're going to stay here until the threat is pretty much long gone. So now the storms are moving into Pottawatomie County. You can see here southeast of Pink, west of Tecumseh. Still very close to where Chris is. Again, Chris is going to let us know. He was telling us, look, this is the same area that had power flashes earlier when these storms were west of Lindsay. So that was a while ago. But these storms are making their way up to the northeast. And so Brooksville at 119, it's about 5 minutes from now. We go into Tecumseh at 123. Neal, 117. Seminole at 143, so Seminole, that's about 30 minutes from now. These storms are moving pretty quickly. These are not slow-moving storms, moving at about 40 miles per hour. Prague at 152. Cromwell at 2 o'clock. So still watching it closely. Still, though, tornado threat, it's there. It's not really high. Our hail risk tonight is hardly anything. I haven't really seen much hail at all with these storms as we've been watching these storms moving up to the northeast. And so once again, still finding that threat. We have Chris Lee here. We have Buck. We have Storm Command. We have Derek. We also have Nick out on these storms. Shane Helton out across northern Oklahoma. We'll check in with him as well in just a little bit. But as of right now, let's check in with Nick Smith. Nick, give us an update on what you're seeing.
Yeah, Damon, we just got to Tecumseh right now, and we're going to actually get some fuel, and then we're going to head up north on 177. We can still see that area of the front edge of that storm. A lot of the trees through here, man, we sometimes call it the jungle out here. It makes it a little bit difficult to see, but once we get on 177, I think we're going to get a better view of this. Back to you.
Okay, so getting some reports right now. As of right now, Oklahoma City Emergency Manager Frank Barnes not reporting any storm damage, some power outages and some related issues. That was his latest message that just came in just moments ago. Still watching this area right here near Byers, Winnett, as you make your way north of 39, west of Sacred Heart, northwest of Asher. Still similar situation. This thing is going to produce these brief spin-ups along the leading edge, and so we still have to watch it closely. If you're in Lexington, Norman, Moore, you're good. But these two areas are still being watched. We saw this tornado tag with this severe thunderstorm warning, and this warning will continue. The severe thunderstorm watch still remains in effect until 5 a.m. So it's still have a lot going on with these two areas of rotation moving up to the northeast. Let's go up to the north. Let's check in with Shane Helton. Shane Helton's he's been watching the storms out across northern Oklahoma all throughout the evening. He is west of Ponca City, west of Blackwell. Shane, good to see the rain out across northern Oklahoma. Give us an update, Shane, on how things are out across the north.
Oh, Damon, we definitely needed this rain up here. Now, I have been underneath, in front of, behind, north, and south of all of these storms. I've been all around them and underneath them. Yes, we've had some pretty good rain. Some areas have been real heavy. I've seen winds that were up probably about 40, 45 mile an hour. And then, of course, you mentioned that there's not much hail. Well, you're right. There's not very much. But I have seen some hail that was smaller than pea size. In fact, I was watching it bounce off the hood of my truck, and it was probably about BB size. Now, there was not very much, but there was just a little bit. In fact, that cell just went into Kansas. It is up there by Caldwell right now, and that's where that hail is at. So we, here in Oklahoma, we got just a lot of rain right now. In fact, there's not even a whole lot of lightning, and it's kind of, it's kind of a good rainstorm right now as I come into Lamont here in northern Oklahoma. And Damon, back to you.
Yeah, and certainly, hey, we like a nice rainstorm, and so we'll watch that. Shane, we appreciate your report. Let's go back down to the south because there's still some threats. So this is specifically if you're living in Hughes County, Pottawatomie County, or Seminole County. We're going to watch these storms closely, especially as you go just out near Brooksville. Still watching this one. See this area right here north of Macomb? I mean, this is the same area. Chris Lee's right on it. I mean, Chris Lee could not be any closer to this area. So for Pottawatomie, Seminole, and Hughes County, your tornado threat is still going to be sticking around for about an hour. Storms are still moving at about 30 to 35 miles per hour to the east. So let's check in with Chris Lee. Chris Lee, still watching it closely in front of you. I know it's dark, but give us an update on what you're seeing, Chris.
Yeah, you're kind of looking at the trees go by. Let's see if I get a gap in the trees. I do have a lowered area in the clouds, kind of off to my north. You can kind of see a glow up there. That's looking north from Macomb. And as we drive east on 59, we're kind of watching that area. Have not seen any kind of power flashes or anything like that. But again, as we said, this area will rotate, and then it looks pretty good, and then it fall apart, and then it looks pretty good again. So definitely watching it to see if it does anything, significant. And we're kind of headed over towards the Tecumseh area, Brooksville, Tecumseh area. So we'll watch it as it goes over that way, Damon.
All right, stay on it because this storm still continues to at least show that rotation right there south of Shawnee. But Shawnee to Tecumseh down to Brooksville, moving up to the northeast. These storms have still maintained a decent speed, about 40 miles per hour. So Gaddy right about now, Tecumseh 124, that's about 6 minutes from now. Shawnee 126, Maud at 134, Seminole 141. It's about 20 minutes from now with this storm still moving up to northeast. Look, we're not going anywhere until the threat is over. If you're west of I-35, your risk is okay now. You don't have a severe weather threat. You can go back to sleep. The rest of the night, you may hear a few occasional rumbles of thunder, but you're okay. Otherwise, if you're east of I-35, especially for Potawatomi, Seminole, Hughes County, this is still a concerning storm. So we're going to watch this. Let's jump back up to the north. Let's go back up into Payne County. Check in on Stillwater. Still in a severe thunderstorm warning, and this warning remains in effect for isolated wind gusts up to 70 miles per hour. So Stillwater, storm just south and southeast of you from the airport. Some strong winds right here near Perkins. But Stillwater right now, the strongest winds are going to continue to make their way up to the northeast. Ripley to Cushing, up to Quay, Yale, eastern parts of Payne County. Those are your strong winds. The northern fringe of the severe thunderstorm warning, Kay County, Noble County, you do not have a severe thunderstorm warning. You don't have any warning right now, but certainly some strong winds now east of 177, east of Stillwater, moving up to the northeast. So, okay, wanted to get a quick update on that northern fringe of the storm here. The metro, we're okay now. Again, the metro, the storm threat, the warning has been dropped. But as you go east, still watching it right along this leading edge, Rossville down to Meeker, Ada-Lot, Johnson, Shawnee. Let's check in with Storm Command just west of Dale. Michael, give us an update right now with what you're seeing.
Yeah, we're actually on the south side of Shawnee. I know that GPS is kind of updating kind of a little sporadically right now, but we're actually in between Shawnee and Tecumseh, coming right in to that next circulation that's moving up kind of toward Tecumseh. We're going to track it as it moves over towards Seminole, Damon. It doesn't look quite as pronounced or as strong as what it did earlier, but you can't trust these storms. Not with this type of wind shear. You just can't trust them. And of course, we saw that tornado warning just a little bit ago, Norman. So if that happens again, if this thing intensifies, ramps up, we're going to be right here along with Chris Lee tracking it.
We know you will. So power outage situation right now. So over 2,100 customers, that's 2,100 homes without power. So tomorrow morning very well could be at least a kind of a bit of a wild start to the day. I know the power crews are working hard to get power restored. If you're watching us right now on the KOCO 5 app, we're always here even when the power goes out. But we certainly know that there have been quite a few power outages, most of those concentrated in Oklahoma City, a few down in Norman. So watching this area right here from Brooksville, northeast of Burnett, northeast of Macomb, moving up to northeast Shawnee, this area of rotation where Chris Lee is looking right into should stay just south, barely south and southeast, but it will make a run towards Seminole, up to Little, and right along I-40. Holdenville, you're not in the warning right now, but Holdenville, we're going to watch it, but still watching at least some strong winds, and even another one right here just near Avoca, southwest of St. Louis. You see these kinks in the radar where it goes back. Again, these are things that just pop up so fast. Slaughterville, you're okay. Lexington, all clear has been given for you. Wayne, all clear. Paola, the all clear. But the all clear has not been given yet for Potawatomi or Seminole County and Hughes County, the Holdenville as well. Again, these storms still moving into the east pretty quickly at about 40 miles per hour. Once the leading edge of storms has moved right on through and it's been raining for about 5 minutes, your threat's coming down. The worst of the storm is right when the storm hits. About 5 minutes after the storm has hit, things begin to kind of improve a bit for you. Yeah, it's still raining heavily, but the severe weather threat and the tornado risk is always right on the leading edge. So Romulus down to Asher. Here's your rotation. Maud, I just get away from windows right now, Maud. Yep. Same thing for the community of St. Louis and Romulus. So once again, moving up to the northeast, 40 miles per hour. This is going to be down towards Potawatomi County here. This is in Potawatomi County, but Maud 137, Wolf 144, all the way down to Cromwell at 208 once again with this storm, and this warning goes until 1:30. So once again, 1:30 right now. It is 1:23. I do expect that we'll probably see at least a bit of this warning extended a little bit downstream, although it has slowed down just a little bit of speed. It hasn't slowed down a whole lot, but it has slowed down just a little bit. If you're in Ponca City, you're okay. Jonathan, you're highlighting that area very close to Tecumseh. What stands out?
Yeah, that area of shear that we've been watching, it's kind of it was way down near Slaughterville and Etowah, and then as it's been moving to the northeast, literally scan by scan, and sometimes you see while Damon is on the weather wall, and you'll see me kind of click over from radar to velocity, and then another tool that we use is a rotation tracker. And so what I'm looking for is area shear, area rotation. So this kind of cleans up the radar for you, makes it real clean, able to see where that area shear is. Still watching it back southwest of Shawnee. There's a lot of people that live in the Shawnee area, so a little bit concerned about that area, whether it's maybe a brief circulation or maybe some damaging winds. Concerned about that. It's about 3 miles west of Highway 177. It's moving very fast to the northeast at about 45 miles an hour. And again, these things can change very quickly. So the area that I'm specifically watching is the kink in the radar here. Right there, just 2 miles southwest of Tecumseh, and Chris Lee is right there. So if I back the radar up, I'll just bring it back. That was literally 15 minutes ago. It was right here. And so what I'm looking for are when the kink, the velocities increase and they're closer together. That overall circulation, if I were to give it a scale of using, a scale 1 to 5 or KOCO 5, back when it, 15 minutes ago when it was south of pink, I may have given it a 2, and then at some point right about there, that's about 10 minutes ago, I would have brought it up to like a level 3, and right now I'd have it at 3 out of 5. So watching it very closely. If we see any power flashes, I love our technology. I mean, Chris Lee's right there. You can see his GPS. He's with 2 miles of that area of circulation. So if we hear him yelling, "Hey, I got power flashes," then we know there's maybe a ground circulation associated with that, and that would trigger maybe a potential tornado warning. I'm not saying there's one now, but we are not out of the woods yet. And there's another area of rotation south of Romulus, west of St. Louis. It's not nearly as strong. It'd be right in here. I'd give it on a scale 1 to 5, a 1 to a 2. So the biggest area of circulation that I'm concerned about is the area of rotation coming into Tecumseh right now, Damon.
Yeah, absolutely. And so with some strong southeasterly winds ahead, still coming in at about 20 to 25 miles per hour, that ability for these storms to still rotate is certainly going to be there. Let's check in with Nick Smith. Nick, give us an update on where you are and what you're seeing.
All right, Damon, I am at 177 and Highway 9, just on the east side of Tecumseh. And my shot, I know it's hard to see, but that's not with our night vision. That is the area of concern. That is the circulation that's coming through just on the southeast side of Tecumseh. when the lightning flashes, you can see the area. It's a little bit lower. You got your front edge of the actual storm that's coming in, and then you have a lowering that's underneath it. But I can see rotation in that on the very front edge of it. So this thing is still rotating. I can see the clouds moving around it. I cannot see anything that's on the ground or any funnels right now. But if we get another lightning flash here in a minute, we might be able to see it a little bit better. But we're right here. There's from our vantage point, no power flashes, nothing on the ground. Back to you.
And we like to hear that. No power flashes, nothing on the ground. That risk still continues, though. Let's check in with Michael Armstrong in Storm Command in Shawnee. Michael, really concerned about an area over Tecumseh, moving up to the northeast. Michael, give us an update on what you're seeing.
Yeah, we're in Tecumseh. We're right by Highway 9, a little bit further to the north and west of Nick, and we're looking at exactly. Look at that feature as well. You can see the sky looks a little bit milky is the way I would describe it, right? It's kind of got that whitish look to it. That's the lowered cloud base that's moving right in over Tecumseh right now. And you can see it does look quite low right in there. We're starting to get a little bit of rain. I'm going to turn on my night vision right here, and you can see those clouds even lit up even that much better. So it's that whitish look. It's getting ready to move kind of like right over top of us here. We're sitting like right on the bridge where 270 and Highway 9 goes to the east over towards Seminole. And so Chris and Nick and I have got this thing surrounded, man. If it does anything, we're going to know it. So, but this is what you got to do at night. You got to put multiple eyes on it. We got a radar, all over it. So that's what we do. If there's any bit of rotation left, we're going to be on it.
Okay, yeah, and that's what we've done. I mean, we put a lot of technology around this to let everyone know what is coming in their direction. Okay, so brand new warning has just been issued for Seminole County out to Hughes County, and this goes until 2:30. So no hail, by the way. There's not a hail threat with this other than if there's any little pea-sized hail kind of embedded within a bunch of rain, but not much of a hail threat. So if your car is parked outside right now, you're okay from hail. And the winds have even come down as well in this newest warning. They've been riding at about 70 miles per hour. Now they're down to 60 miles per hour. But the new warning does include still Tecumseh, Seminole, Holdenville, down to Kanawha, Bing, northern Pontotoc County. But the most significant part of the storm is still going to be located right here. Derek Klein, he's going to be south of Chandler. Here's Chris Lee. Here's Storm Command, Nick Smith, Buck on these cells, moving up to the northeast. And so at this current track, look, if you're watching in Holdenville, the worst of the storm is likely, at least as of right now, going to stay north of you, making its way right along I-40, even as you make way towards Seminole as well. So zooming in, still watching at least this area, Johnson, Prague, I know has been fairly quiet throughout the evening, but you can feel those winds outside right now. So coming in out of the southeast. So we still have a tornado threat, and we're still going to keep at least that tornado tag threat alive and well with this line as it continues to move to the east. Let's check in with Nick Smith. Nick, give us an update on what you're seeing.
Yeah, Damon, we just had a lightning hit, and we got a little bit of that backlighting, and it did look like there was like a little bit of something hanging down. It could be scud, but I mean, I just want to make sure, that this thing can ramp up really quick. And so, for people in this area, definitely, I would be taking precautions right now, just because, with this having a lowered base on it, and with what we saw in Norman just a little bit ago, it can go from 0 to 100 really, really, really fast. So we just got to watch this thing. Back to you.
Yeah, and great advice there, Nick. It can go from 0 to 100 really fast, and that's what we're here to do, is that if it happens to go from 0 to 100 really fast, you're aware of what's coming in your direction. And so right now, the risk, Shawnee to Earlsboro, down to Maud, very large severe thunderstorm warning. Now, not everyone in this warning area is going to see severe weather, but it's very difficult to kind of just draw a bunch of separate polygons because the threat just kind of bounces all over the place along this leading edge. So St. Louis to Romulus, watching this area. And so if you're in Bowlegs, Seminole to Holdenville, if you have any tornado threat that's going to come in, it's coming in from this section right here. So west of St. Louis right now, Maud 140, Seminole 154. We go into Wawoka at 201, Yeager at 212. And so in Holdenville, this very well could just stay just north of you. Holdenville, you're down here. But at this current rate, the storm has been moving more northeast than east all throughout the evening. So we'll watch it, but this should stay just north of you should this circulation persist. And it's still moving pretty quickly. Let me get an update here with the storm track. But I do believe at one point, these storms are moving at about 40 to 45 miles per hour. And the newest storm movement has come down a little bit in speed at about 30 miles per hour. So the storms will slow down just a little bit. We expected that to happen. We've been kind of keeping a close eye on the speed here, but still moving to the northeast about 30 miles per hour. Still seeing our rotation tracker, still highlighting a couple areas, Shawnee and down towards St. Louis. Let's check in right now with Michael. Michael, still seeing a bit of rotation in between Tecumseh and on the southeast side of Shawnee. Michael, what are you seeing from where you are?
Yeah, Damon, what you can see there, you see the wind just kind of whipping the raindrops around there on my 360.
Okay, hit and miss cell coverage. It's kind of hit and miss out here. We'll check back in with Michael in just a bit. Let's check in with Chris Lee, because Chris Lee is about 3 miles southeast of him. Chris, still seeing at least a bit of an inflow notch. It's not a tornado warning. It's a severe thunderstorm warning with that tornado tag right to your northwest. Chris, give us an update on what you're seeing.
Yeah, still watching that area. We're also kind of watching an area down towards the St. Louis, heading into the Maud area. Again, we've been watching that area all evening long, and it persists. At times, looks like something might be imminent. I keep waiting, hoping to get not a power flash, but a lightning flash that kind of illuminates the sky, see a little more definition. I have not seen any power flashes in quite some time. So we're watching it. I think we're going to move a little further east and maybe kind of check out this other area that's coming up from the south, this other area of rotation that's over towards the Maud area, David.
Okay, and so right now, still looking at the winds, and right where you are, Chris, is where those winds are still coming in from the southeast. And so we still have that threat, once again, for this tornado threat to still be there. It's not very high, but it's not zero. And so as we have seen throughout the evening, these things can go from nothing to something real fast. Let's check back in with Michael Armstrong. Michael, we have you live. Give us an update on what you're seeing.
Okay, Damon, yeah, we are not too far from Chris. We're a little bit further west, I believe, back closer to Tecumseh. And we did have some rain that was coming in on us horizontally. As I spin my camera around, we looked back toward Tecumseh. One of the things I was just talking about with Kyle here in Storm Command is really a decrease in the lightning. And then I went over and looked on the Oklahoma Mesonet, and sure enough, Damon, a lot of the instability that was feeding the storms earlier, it's down in southern Oklahoma now. It really doesn't even impact this area that much. We've seen that cooler air move in behind the rain, and so one of those areas is right over here by Seminole that still has some instability left, but the really the higher octane air is all the way down near Sulphur and Fitztown and further south down near Ardmore. So it's just kind of interesting that we're seeing that decrease in lightning. That may be a good sign for the overall trend on these storms, for them to continue to weaken some. We're still here in case anything does, get crazy, spin up, anything like that. But it's kind of nice that we're not seeing widespread damage from these storms, even given the fact that we've had so much wind shear. But it just doesn't look like the instability is going to be there to really, in a sense, take advantage of that wind shear, which is a really good thing, because otherwise we'd probably be seeing a lot more damage.
Yeah, and you make a good point that the amount of instability that is in the atmosphere is considerably less east of I-35. It was one of the driving factors in just how our entire severe weather day was set up today. West of I-35, we had that enhanced risk for severe weather. Then the threat dropped to a slight risk east of I-35. A lot of our severe weather indices were much higher, I-35 and west. and the farther east you went, the lower the hail size risk that we had in the forecast for today, the less, the weaker the winds were likely going to be. And so the instability is going to keep coming down as we go from Seminole to Holdenville. And if you're living in Seminole County, Hughes County, that's great news. You like to get the rain in here without a significant severe weather threat. And so everything is going in the right direction, but still, we need to watch these areas of spin. So northeast of Tecumseh, east of Romulus, southwest of Maud. That's still an area to watch north of St. Louis. Here's another area to watch southeast of Shawnee. If you're in Seminole right now, the one that I'm watching would be this down here by St. Louis, because this one up towards Tecumseh would likely make its way up to the east-northeast from Neal to Little as you go towards Cromwell. That area of rotation, once again, would make its way closer to I-40. But for Seminole, this area down by St. Louis will likely move up to northeast. Now, winds have just shifted a bit out of the southwest for Seminole, but still there would at least be some risk to watch as these storms are moving up to northeast. Now a little bit slower at about 30 miles per hour. So Maud at 146, Bowlegs at 158, Seminole at 204. That's about 25 to 30 minutes from now for Seminole. So again, we're watching this one real closely for you right now in Seminole. If you're in Wolf, if you're down towards Sassacua and Holdenville, you have a warning, but right now, at least the most significant part of this storm is still going to be right on the leading edge. And we've really been kind of targeting more of these cells in Pottawatomie County. That seems to be where most of the risk for these spin-up tornadoes is still setting up. Hopefully we can keep bringing it down, but we know that what's right in front of us is that we have a severe thunderstorm warning that goes until 2:30, and Seminole and Hughes County, you are included in that risk. Yes, the instability will come down with these storms continuing to move to the east. And so once again, we have Michael out there, we have Derek out there, we have Nick out across eastern Oklahoma, Buck, Shane out across the north. So our crews are still out right now, still watching these storms closely as they continue to move up to the northeast. Let's check in with Derek Klein. Derek, been watching your storms throughout the evening. You're on the storms that were producing power flashes in Edmond. Now we see that you're just west of Prague. What's happening right now in Lincoln County, Derek?
Yeah, Damon, we're just staying out ahead of this line right now. One of the encouraging trends that we've seen is that the gust front has kind of pushed out ahead of it. We're kind of in that area where that spin-up came from the Norman storm, but right now the air is blowing out of the storm and not into the storm. So as long as that trend continues, then these storms, I think, will continue to weaken a little bit. But we're trying to stay out here ahead of it to find any areas that might have that inflow. But as of right now, the gust front is running about 1 to 2 miles out ahead of the actual range of these thunderstorms, which tells us that it's blowing out or it's losing its energy. So we're going to continue to watch it, though, and we're kind of just staying right out here ahead of it as we head into Prague. So we'll let you know if we see anything different. Back to you.
Okay, and yeah, that gust front, real important, because every time you see that gust front just running out even a mile or two ahead of the line of storms, that can really help to at least disrupt the airflow for there to be any type of real tornado threat. So this right here will help bring down the tornado threat, and we like to see it. But if you're in Prague right now, storms to your west-southwest are still moving in. They're still going to be a bit noisy as they come in. So tracking this line of storms moving up to northeast, Belmont 142, Payton 205, Welty, Bowley about 217 to 226, and then down to Mason at 230. I expect that if this trend continues, this risk will keep coming down as well. So we are slowly watching the severe weather threat decrease as we go into this early morning hour here. Right now it is 1:40. All the yellow flashing polygons that you see here, these are warnings that are set to expire at 2:30, so not for about another 50 minutes or so. Still finding a couple areas of rotation to watch. One near Earlsboro, one down by Maud. Not very tight on the radar, but we're still seeing at least some rotating segments within this line here. If you're in Brooksville, if you're in Shawnee, your threat is over. Again, the only tornado threat that we're going to see will be right along the leading edge of this. It's right at the very beginning. Once the storm is blown 1 to 2 miles east of you, your threat really comes down. So tracking this area west of Maud to Bowlegs, Seminole, up towards Wawoka, Butner, and Cromwell. Moving up to northeast, Seminole right about 2 o'clock. Let's check in with Nick Smith. Nick, give us an update on where you are and what you're seeing.
Yeah, Damon, I jumped up here on the north side. Well, actually, I'm sorry. I'm on the east side of Shawnee right now, and just kind of trying to stay with the storm. I know it's kind of, oh, man, it's looking like it's starting to decrease in intensity, but we're just going to stay with this thing until it's gone. We don't want it to pulse back up on us. So, but right now we're getting pretty heavy rain, and, I'd say moderate to heavy rain, and, the wind doesn't seem like it's anything like it was earlier. It's not blowing us around. The truck's not rocking back and forth. So I'd say, the wind's good. But they did get a good amount of rain through here. If you're seeing in my shot, you're seeing a lot of leaves on the ground. There was pretty good wind that came through here a little bit ago. Back to you.
Yeah, certainly those winds have been pretty gusty, and so, yeah, we can definitely see them. They're scattered along the highway. So a couple areas to watch along this. West of Bow Lakes, north of St. Louis. Here's another near Kanawha. And out as you make your way right along the Canadian River, and then another south of Stratford near Hart. And so a couple areas of spin right along this leading edge. And again, this warning goes until 2:30. So this entire line is now moving at 30 miles per hour, a slightly slower movement from what we had earlier when the storms were moving at 40 miles per hour. But we go into Maxwell at 145. Storm will move into Kanawha at 155. Seminole at 158, Bowlegs at 201. So right now it is 142. We expect the storms that, well, again, will be making their way through Seminole County, eventually the Hughes County, between about 155 to 230. Let's check in with Michael Armstrong. Michael, give us an update on what you're seeing.
Okay, Damon, we're just here on the northwest side of Seminole. Just starting to get a little bit of light rain, noticing a few showers that are going up ahead of that line of storms. I'm still seeing, I would say, even more of a decrease in lightning than even what I was talking about earlier. And again, that keeps pointing in the right direction on the trends. There is one area that's down near Kanawha that kind of has a little bit of a velocity signature. It's not super strong. It's not like what we saw earlier with the tornado warning, but there is just a few other little areas along this leading edge, and I know you've been kind of pointing them out on radar. And so we're continuing to watch those here in Seminole. The rain is just starting. You can kind of see some of the drops there in the night vision on my 360 camera, and trees blowing around a little bit, but really winds are pretty light here right now. They're not too gusty. They probably 10 to 20 miles per hour, not really too bad at the moment. Now they're probably going to pick up some as this line comes in from behind us, and it's really not very far behind. It's just a couple of miles away. So here within the next few minutes, winds are going to increase some in Seminole. But Damon, I don't see anything severe right now about the winds based on what I'm seeing on radar. We're here to monitor it in case it picks up further. And I know the severe thunderstorm warning is still in effect for winds to 60 miles per hour. And I think you made a great point earlier that just because you're in one of these large severe thunderstorm warnings, it doesn't guarantee that you're going to see damaging winds. But to try to draw 50 polygons on there where you're going to isolate each wind gust that's not that is not possible. You're just not going to do that. So you just put one big warning on there. I totally get why the National Weather Service does what they do, but also not everybody who's in the warning is going to get those winds.
You're right. Not everyone in the warning will get the winds. And you're right, because what happens is sometimes these winds can pop up so fast that the amount of time it takes to draw out the polygon, and then when the storm actually hits, it can take a little while here. So no matter how you look at it, everyone still needs to be on alert from Seminole to Wewoka to Holdenville. And the wind threat has really come down, and the amount of instability has really come down as well. The air mass is not as unstable as what we saw earlier west of I-35. Yes, there are still some winds, but you can always get a good idea as to how the storm is trending based on the amount of lightning. And so the lightning has come down, still some gusty winds. We're not looking at 70-mile-an-hour winds like we saw earlier. These are warned on for 60, and those 60-mile-per-hour winds are going to be very isolated. So Jonathan highlighting from near Sacred Heart, one near Maud, near Tecumseh. And so overall, the storm is moving north and then pulling to the east. if you watch the rain's lifting this way. The upper level jet stream is really just pulling the rain and the storms due north, but it's also advancing to the east. So kind of vectoring a little bit here, but you kind of see the overall movement here. Lines moving to the east, but the rain is moving up to the north, and so you'll get some decent rain out of this. I've already picked up about a half inch of rain at my house. Check the rain gauge here just moments ago. But Neal down to St. Louis, Sacred Heart, Kanawha, rain is coming in, and it will come into Sasakwa, Bing, Holdenville, Yeager. You're in the far eastern fringe of this warning. This warning is set to expire still in about 45 minutes. We'll see if it can hold on that long. It is certainly possible that this warning may be dropped, but we're going to keep watching it frame by frame until the all clear has been given, because this is still in an area that has a severe thunderstorm watch that remains in effect until 5 a.m. If you're west of I-35, your severe weather threat is done for the night. All clear. It's going to be windy, but you're okay. If you're east of I-35, if you're in Cleveland County, you're okay. Even if you're in Potawatomi County, things are improving. You still have this warning in effect, so you still got to respect it. But certainly once the rain's been overhead for a bit, this is pretty much an instability muncher right here. And so this is going to kind of take away the instability from out of the atmosphere. Still some of it will still stick around, but not a lot. Sparks to Prague, watching it. Derek Klein currently in Prague. And even watching the storms all the way down to the south. Let's check in with Chris Lee if we can. Chris Lee is going to be in Seminole. And so, Chris Lee, watching these storms coming in. Chris Lee, give us an update on what you're seeing.
Yeah, Damon, we are south of Seminole. We're kind of watching off to our, let's see, I'll move the camera to the road. This is looking south on 377, Highway 99, south of Seminole. Watching the storms off to our right, to our west, kind of running down the line, checking it out. You can see in the lightning flash, you can kind of see that leading edge. But as Michael said, the lightning has really come down quite a bit, so we're not getting quite as much help with lighting up that front edge to look at it. So and also I noticed it's not moving quite as fast as it was. We're not having to run quite as hard to keep out ahead of it. So we're going to keep watching it. It's still while it's got that warning, we're going to keep watching it as it keeps drifting east, David.
Yeah, and as long as we still have a severe thunderstorm warning inside of a severe thunderstorm watch, we're going to be watching it as well. So this warning set to expire at 2:30. Right now, it's a little after 1:45. So we still have about 40 minutes to go. And still, any tornado threat that we're going to see out of this is right where the green and the red match up. They're not very strong couplets here, but there's still ones that we have to respect. After all, we saw the tornado warning this evening, western Oklahoma, another tornado warning this evening in Cleveland County, and so the threat's still going to continue. So if you're in Holdenville, Sasakwa, Spalding, Wolf, Seminole, you're saying, look, it's been pretty quiet. We've had a lot of wind so far this evening. We haven't had much in the form of storms. What do we need to know? These storms are still coming in. There's no hail threat with these, literally none. And so the main threat is 60-mile-per-hour winds, and even those will be isolated. What we're here to watch what we're here to watch right now is, will these little pockets of strong winds stay over some rural land, some open land, or are they going to come right over your house? And so we're here to make sure that should any threat come right over your house, you know that it's coming. So from Seminole to Bowlegs, we're still watching it right along the Canadian River, seeing a couple areas of shear, not finding much in the form of hail other than maybe some Dippin' Dot size hail kind of embedded within some rain, but even that is going to be few and far between. So the rain's lifting up to the north, advancing to the east. Wynnewood to Sulphur, the rain sounds nice. Oklahoma City, a little bit of light rain right now and occasional rumbles of thunder. There's still some instability left across central Oklahoma. These storms didn't zap at all, but we are still finding at least some moderate to heavy downpours now making their way from Shawnee, moving up to the north into eventually Lincoln County. So still looking at a few areas right here near Kanawha. Again, these are so small to find on radar, but you got to look just, again, scan by scan. That's what we're here to do. So that's moving up to northeast at about 30 miles per hour. That little kink in the radar, you can see here, makes its way into Bowlegs at about 220. Seminole 230, Wowoka 234, Butner 247. It's not a lot of lightning, and that's a big drop in the lightning from what we had earlier. Let's check back in with Michael Armstrong. Michael, we're only counting about 14 lightning strikes in the last 10 minutes. Not a lot of lightning, but still some. What are you seeing from where you are, Michael?
Yeah, that's a key thing for us too, Damon, at night. It really is. The more lightning we have, the more really value we can bring to what you're trying to do, and that's give people the warning. And so when that drops off, it's not that we can't get into the storms and see what's going on, but the lightning sure helps us with the visibility. And anytime you see lightning is a big key. I mean, we look at that a lot when we're out storm chasing. If we're getting a ton of cloud to ground lightning strikes, that usually means the storm is still really powerful and still possibly severe. When that lightning count really drops off, man, it tells you a lot about the atmosphere. It really does. So that's a good thing. And I know people over here east of Shawnee, Tecumseh or Wowoka, Holdenville, Cromwell, Prague, they all. I've talked to so many of them on social media, and they want to know that they're cared about. They want to know that we take warnings seriously for them, and we do. That's why we're over here. We come over east of I-35 all the time, and tonight we're doing that again. So even though the storms are weakening, we haven't thrown in the towel yet, just because we know how this works. We've done it before, and these storms, sometimes they can cycle back up. Right now, it doesn't look like that's going to happen, fortunately. So, the warning, I will be surprised if it gets extended any further than what this may be the last severe thunderstorm warning we have in our viewing area tonight, Damon. I don't know. We'll see. I mean, southern Oklahoma still has some energy to work with, but this area up here along I-40 has really it's dwindled amazingly.
It really has, and we're still going to continue to watch it, as while there's still some instability. This instability has come down enough, but still this warning still remains in effect until 2:30. So Kanawha up to Sacred Heart, St. Louis. Getting some nice rain coming in here. Certainly not nearly as intense. Still a couple lightning strikes here. You got to keep watching this lightning strike counter. If it keeps going down, which it has been, that's a sign that these storms are continuing to decrease in intensity. Let's go out to Chris Lee, who will be out near Bowlegs and Maud. Chris Lee, still watching for some lightning. Are you seeing a lot of lightning where you are, Chris?
Yeah, Damon, still watching near the Bowlegs area. Not seeing. I keep waiting to see some lightning flashes to kind of see the cloud deck. It is off to my west. It's still progressing to the east towards Highway 377, but just not seeing a whole lot of definition with it to see visibly a whole lot that helps you out with the radar. But occasionally there is a flash, and there is a cloud deck that. The outflow that's coming when those storms come through, they've had very strong winds all night long and riding right along the leading edge. And we've kind of been in and out of it all day, kind of trying to stay in front of it. There's a lot of outflow, and then there'll be a lot of inflow. And, of course, when those get together in a tight gradient, sometimes they can spin something up. So we've been watching that all night long. It does appear to be weakening just by looking at the amount of lightning I'm seeing, and the fact that we were able to get this far ahead of it, because we have not been able to stay out of the rain for more than a few minutes, it seems like, all night long. It's been dry. It's been going up and down the roads almost as fast as we can. So that's hopefully a good thing that these things are trending down, and hopefully we won't get any more severe warnings. But, well, of course, like Michael said, we're going to be out here as long as there are, just to let you know what's going on. David?
Okay, so brand new information to pass along, and that is that the National Weather Service has just cancel the warning. So they just dropped the warning. It was originally set to expire at 2:30, no longer in effect. And because of that, the overall threat for severe weather continues to decrease. We've been watching this trend, and it's been going on for a little while here. But overall, the instability is just so much lower as you go into eastern Oklahoma. So the rain still continues, and we're still getting some rain across Oklahoma City. And even as you go down to the south, and we're going to continue to at least keep the rain with us as we go into the next couple of hours. But overall, that threat for severe weather is dropping, and it's dropping pretty quickly. So this is all a step in the right direction. We like it when this happens because this at least kind of gives us a generalized idea. Hey, look, we're going to get some rain in here tonight. Don't expect that these will be the kind of storms that are going to at least wake you up with some strong winds. You still could have some gusty wind threats that could very well be in that 30 to 60 mile per hour range. And so that's still certainly something that could be a little noisy tonight. But all in all, we do not have any warnings in Oklahoma anymore. Ponca City, warning free. Enid, warning free. Stillwater, the heaviest of the storms are now east of you, down towards Wawoka, towards Seminole, down to Sulphur and Ardmore. Some storms, nothing severe. West of I-35, southwest, Lawton to Frederick. Not really finding a whole lot of rain right now. Some rain, but it's not very heavy. A few severe thunderstorm warnings west of the DFW Metroplex. But right now, most of the severe weather continues to come down. And as we look ahead, behind this system, the impacts that we're going to feel, you're going to feel them. The winds are picking up later today, Wednesday, especially late Wednesday night and into Thursday. Very well could be dealing with winds that are gusting 40, 50, up to 60 miles per hour. So this was a powerful storm system that blew right on through Oklahoma. We're still going to be watching closely, see if any damage reports come out for tomorrow morning, any type of tornado surveys. Remember, we've already had 28 tornadoes so far this month of October. That is a record for the most amount of tornadoes we have ever had in the month of October. We do not have any tornado warnings, no longer in effect. The last warning that we had was that one that made its way across Cleveland County. And all in all, the tornado risk has really come down. I do want to check back in real quick with Michael Armstrong. Michael, the warning just dropped. Anything stand out to you and what you're seeing as you are east of I-35 right now? Okay, we'll get Michael. Let me know when Michael's back on. But Chris Lee is currently going to be down in Bow Lakes. We can see him right now. So they're going to be in Seminole County. The storms are coming in right now. If you're just now waking up in Seminole, you have a couple lightning strikes outside, a few rumbles of thunder. Severe thunderstorm warning was just dropped for you. No longer in effect. So good news to pass along for those of us from Seminole down to Bow Lakes. Some gusty winds are coming in right now, about 30 miles per hour. Not terribly strong. We get that on a sunny day out here. But some storms are coming in. Chris Lee, if we can check in with Chris Lee real quick. Chris Lee, looking at our storm impact, not even finding any hail and even any shear markers with this line coming in. Chris, anything stand out to you right now, and what's happening in Seminole County?
Not a lot, like you said. We got some winds coming in, but as you said, the 30, 40 mile an hour winds, we're going to have that the next couple of days. So it's not. It's kind of good to see that coming down. We've been dealing with very strong winds, and the threat of rotation along some of these storms all night long. So to see them coming down, we're on a hill just north of Bow Lakes. It kind of stopped here so we can kind of look off to the west where the storm's coming in. It's just started to very light rain on the windshield now, but almost no lightning anymore. Probably been 30 seconds to a minute since I've seen a lightning flash. So that's a good sign. As you know, as always in rural areas, it seems like we could always use the rain, and it's always good when it comes without the threat of hail and damaging winds. So we're gonna hang here and make sure as it comes through. But I think hopefully, I'm not going to say it, David. I'm just going to say it started to rain here, and we're going to be watching it, and I'll throw it back to you.
Chris, you've been doing this too long, so I know you always have to be careful. Let's check in with Michael one last time. Michael, out till we go. all the warnings have been dropped across Oklahoma. Good news. We have a severe thunderstorm watch remains in effect for 3 more hours. Low in chance of any more warnings being issued. But, Michael, anything stand out to you right now across Seminole County?
Nothing in a bad way. Everything's positive right now is what I'm seeing. We're still getting some rain, which is good. There are a few lightning strikes. I'm not going to say there's not any. Around Sparks, there's kind of a cluster of lightning also coming in toward Prague. You guys will probably still hear some thunder. But, you know, the need to be super vigilant and, you know, really kind of on the edge of your seat and seeing what's going to happen with the storm exactly, you know, we're really kind of transitioning out of that pretty fast. And you notice that with the dropping of the warning. And that's really, you know, you just kind of got these heavy storms that are just kind of moving along. And again, it may wake some folks up, but in general, I would say we're looking pretty good now.
Yeah, and I totally agree with that assessment as well. Should any warnings be reissued downstream from here, we'll certainly jump on, not only here, but also online. But as of right now, it appears that the trend keeps going downward and downward, which is good. And the amount of instability is dropping as well. You can see not a lot of lightning strikes happening. And so all in all, good news. Still some storms out there, but the threat for severe weather is incredibly low. Keep it with KOCO 5 News. We'll bring you the first alert.